Great after morning. This is Dr. John L. Mack, better known as Dr. Magnificent. And I'm back to share information for your transformation as well as your elevation. Well, I am just so excited to see you guys again. This morning I woke up and it was just a powerful time when I was able to go through my morning routine. And if you don't have a morning routine, I promise you, you're probably missing out on having better days because when you go through a routine every morning focused on mindfulness, focused on exercise and energy and just getting yourself aligned, you'll find that my routine starts with AIM, and my new book AIM to Thrive in 2025 uses that AIM mindset, which is aspiration, inspiration, and motivation. But that's a whole nother story. You got to get the book, and it'll be out on my birthday in January. But today, what came in my spirit is, you know what? You need to have an AI day. You need to have an AI day. Now, let's be honest. Everybody, every time you turn around, they're saying something about AI that is fake news, that is creating stuff that's unreal, that's not true. That is, I mean, all these stories about AI that is replacing jobs, that is putting misinformation, and a lot of it is true. But a lot of it is because you don't know what to do when it comes to AI. And when it came out November of 2023, so this is the second year of implementation. When it came out, I was like, "Wow, this is so cool!" And I immediately embraced all the attributes of what it meant for me. I think that AI means abundant increase, that you are able to increase productivity and decrease time allotted to the increase of that productivity. So, in other words, you're able to do more with less and to achieve more with less effort. So, your ROI, return on investment, multiplies. So, you're looking at where what may have been 1 or 2x now is 8 or 10x and even more because you're able to get precise, concise, incredibly well done content by utilizing the characteristics of AI. So I'm here today to talk about AI as the abundant increase. Now, abundance means having enough and more. You having enough to satisfy all of your needs. Your needs are met, and there's basic needs. Food, shelter, safety. Then there's subsequent needs, and then there's higher needs and desires. So people talk about rich folks' problems. When you have money, when you have resources, when you have the abundance and the excess, one of the rich folks' problems is that people are going to come to you asking you to help them, to bail them out, to be their blessing or their savior, and oftentimes that takes a toll on people because people come to you in moments of desperation and need, and they promise they're going to pay you back, but they're so desperate they'll do and say anything to deal with the urgency of the moment. Sometimes that urgency is eating. Sometimes that urgency is paying a bill so that they don't lose their electricity or they don't get evicted or they don't lose their car, something of that nature. Those are urgent needs in order to maintain a status quo. Well, this morning, my spirit says that AI means absolutely incredible. So if you look at your life and you say, what will make my life absolutely incredible? So with that as a framework and as a foundation, I want to talk about, let me introduce you to the real you, the you that you know in deep down inside you are, the you that you're kind of frustrated or disappointed or upset because people don't recognize that you. They see the buffoon, they see the clown, they see the okay, the mediocre, the average, the ordinary you. But inside there's a you that says, hey, I'm spectacular. I'm incredible. I'm wonderful. I've got something to say. I've got something to share. I've got gifts. I've got talents, abilities that I'd like to share with the world. I've got some new ways and new perspectives and new concepts that, if implemented, can make life if at the very least, more enjoyable, but possibly better all around. So I want to share my gift to the world. So how do we do that? We have an absolutely incredible day. You know, as a self-publishing strategist, many people come to me and say, Dr. Mack, I've got this great book. I want to put it out on paper. Well, when this absolutely incredible, this AI day concept dropped in my spirit, also it dropped in my spirit that we could become, and I call it the 8-hour author. I said, whoa, that's a day's work. Uh, Produce your book with just a one day's work. And so I'm going to take a few moments and talk about that process, because once we understand the possibility of creating a book in just 8 hours, doing bam all the it throws all of the conventional wisdom out the door. So how do you write a best-selling book with an incredible cover? How do you do this in just 8 hours? Well, I'm glad you asked. I am the self-publishing strategist, and I'm talking to you today about an AI day. Absolutely incredible. Well, part of the way, we're going to start this whole thing by looking at it and turning this vision into a reality. This is the action step that's needed in order to take 8 hours and craft a book. Now, let's be honest. Back in the day, it's taken people 10, 12 years to write a book. It definitely 8 hours, you're talking about, wow, this is just cray it's got to be some type of robotic non something that's nonsensical. It can't be anything of any value or any decent reading enjoyment to be derived from. No way. But see, the AI is so um, incredibly nuanced that it's able to, if you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to work today. If you put an 8-hour day in for someone else to build their dream, to fulfill their dream, if you're able to get up in the morning, put yourself some clothes on, leave the house, the comfort of your home, the comfort of those that like you, that love you, that are your cheerleaders, to get in a car and get in traffic, possibly where we could possibly have bodily injury because people are not, they're just mad because they got to do the same thing you're doing, get up, leave their comfort of their home and go and deal with someone they don't like for a protracted period of time, be around people that even if they don't like them, they don't love them, they're not like, oh man, I'm just really enjoying spending my day with you. And just think of if it was a lot of yous and your proclivities and your idiosyncrasies of how what you like, what you don't like. So you go out in that world and you give that man, that woman, that corporation, that company, you give them 8 full hours. Now they give you a 15-minute break here, a 15-minute break there. They give you a lunch break. They give you some bio breaks. But for the most part, dadgummit, you're putting some effort in. They're saying that we have a job that needs to be done. And if you're willing to take that job on, we'll give you X amount of dollars for every hour that you are involved in doing that job. So when you clock in, we're going to start paying you based on the amount of time that you clock in to take care of this task for us that we want as an outcome. And as a result of us we want this outcome so bad that we're willing to give you X number of dollars. So you trade that time for dollars. Well, if you're willing to go in and do that, realizing that you got the scrutiny of maybe camera, you got the scrutiny of maybe key stroke action, or just any type of way that they're able to monitor your progress and your effort. If you're willing to put that amount of sacrifice and discipline and diligence in for somebody else, think what you would do if it was for yourself. When I worked I was the number one Mitsubishi salesperson in the world. I mean, I made it a point to I studied, I knew my product, I was good, I liked people, I enjoyed what I was doing. I even created a song, we thank you for the sale, we thank you for the sale, we thank you for the sale. That's why we ring the bell, and we would ring a bell, and old women and children, everyone loved that experience. So that's what I was doing for someone else. And don't get me wrong, I that paid the bills. I mean, in one year I made I made a high enough six-figure income where I was walking on cloud nine. They sent me to the Super Bowl. My seat was like I could have slapped John Madden upside the head. That was that experience of being the best at that. But that was for somebody else. Now, if I put 8 hours in for myself, Rudyard Kipling in his poem If says, if you could put 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's within it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. He was talking about pushing yourself to the limit. So let's take that same 8 hours that you joyfully trade to someone else, to a company, corporation, a man, or what have you. And let's take that 8 hours and give it to yourself. So we're saying an 8 hour author. Well, what has to be done in these 8 hours to compress that time frame, to condense it so that we're able to produce a best selling brand building book? Wow. See, that's the key. It's a brand building book. Nobody cares if you got arrested, molested, tested, stressed. We just want to know this. When you went through that, did you figure out a mechanism? Did you figure out a method, a mindset? Did you figure out a mantra? Or did you figure out the expertise or the experience that you can share with me so I can avoid all the stuff that you're talking about, all the negativity? I can avoid the getting fired and not getting fired up. I can avoid the ridicule and all the negativity. I can avoid that if you tell me how you overcame it. And I'll buy that. I'll buy it in multiple dimensions. If you give it to me in a book and it's good, I'll buy it and I'll tell my friends about it. And if it's good enough, and now you have a course, class, curriculum, or you're going to speak at a conference or some type of convention, I'll be there and support you and pay the price to be able to get the proximity for your information. That's what we're talking about. So this 8 hour time frame of creating a book, number one, I promise you, everybody is already immediately turn him out. Ain't no way you can write a book in 8 hours. Let me tell you something. So I did a book for this young man. I did this grant. This was a good guy that I found out about. One of my classmates asked me to help out, so I helped him create a book. And I did it. I was able to just did my research, and the same principles I'm talking about with this 8 hour process is what I put into place. I got all my information. I created an outline, knew what we wanted to say. So once I got the outline, used AI to create the outline. Now the key to being authentic with AI is that you have to, in your prompting, you have to be specific and know exactly the outcome that you're seeking, and then you want to condition and teach the AI how to respond, what response, and how to respond with the response that's requested. So part of that is that you will train, you will pre-train the AI with information about the tone, the sequence, the methodology, the phraseology, some of the goals and the aspiration of the author. So when you have all of that connected, so when you create and request an outcome, it's creating that outcome based on the input in the current prompt. So if the current prompt is write an introduction to this book, it's already got a background, a framework, a nest of information that it's able to extract from and to build on. So that's how we're able to condense that time frame and to be able to create the end result or the expected result in a very protracted period of time. That's huge. So with this outline, I just go into one of the chat bots that I have, and so I create each author that I'm working with, and each person that's going to work with their own individual book. They need to, well, if you go to say Chat GPT, you go to chat, you want to create a chat bot specific to that project, to that book. So everything, all the nuances, everything that you begin to implement and you want to have uh, included in the body of work, if you're let me just say this. One important point in working with AI is that if you want to have a consistent flow of thought, then you want to create a thread. You don't want to just create a new chat for each question or each response. If everything is connected to the book and you're asking about any number of things from promotion, keyword search, smoothing out, editing, whatever you're asking for, you keep it in that same thread. So you don't just you and it categorizes on the side what the project was. So you can just click on that, make sure you go back to the same one, and you build on that same prompt thread so that it will be able to interact with previous threads and keep the information congruent and consistent. You might want to rewind that and listen to that again because that was really kind of like worth the price of your time. And your time is more valuable than anything. That you could have paid me with money, you could have paid me with a lot of things, but you paid me with attention, and for that I'm very very grateful. So in order to have an absolutely incredible day and be able to be create that content within 8 hours, you want to tell once you built out that chat bot, you want to say, hey, give me an 8 hour time frame and timeline and outline to produce this book, and the using the 25 essential elements of creating a brand building book by Dr. John L. Mack. So those, you use that, and that by the way can be available at no cost to you if you just put in the chat box or put in the DM, whatever you divide, put in send me the PDF, send me the PDF, send me. Okay, I always wanted to be a rapper. Back in the day, I put a cassette out. It was before CDs or whatever, and it was called My Faith in Effect. And I said, I'm the rapping Reverend rapping for you. I'm bringing you a message that's honest and true about a risen Savior who conquered death in the grave, breaking bonds and chains that make you a slave. I followed yellow Jesus, he's the fourth soldier at war, making sure Satan won't bother you no more. But you didn't come on to hear me rap. You came on for some self-publishing strategies. So this 8 hour strategy, once your bot gives you that outline, so you know exactly what your next steps are. That first hour or so, you're gonna craft out the outline. Once you get the outline created, then you're gonna go to Word and create a template to house the book in. So every time you write it, you create a new chapter. Every time you create a new section, you're just able to implement it within that template and build out the book. Often, back in the day. Now, I was listening to a gentleman that did a master class this morning, and he was talking about how he uses he interviews the author and takes that interview that he records and has it transcribed, and then he goes and just rearranges it based on that. And that's not a bad idea. I did that for, of the hundreds of books that I've done, probably 60 to 70% were created that way, just that way, where my mind works like when I hear you give me your story, I see and sense and have a way that I can rephrase it. I'm a wordsmith. It's just something, I've been that all my life. So I see the pattern of the word that's going to give you the most effective emotional response toward the dream of the goal or the target that you set forth with your CTA or your call to action. So I'm going to help you phrase it in such a way. I've got one gentleman that we worked with in the past, and his messaging was powerful. Everything was wonderful on it, but he started doing some things on social media that were counterproductive to the quality of the brand that he was building. And he, started doing some bare chested stuff, and doing so macho, and had a lot of language that was inappropriate for some of the market that would be willing to reach out to him. So we were able to tell him that the whole thing is getting your messaging and your branding right, so that when you produce your brand building book, it's able to do what it's designed to do. So if you want to have an absolutely incredible day, it begins with making sure that you realize just how simple AI is making everything. I could get off this call right now, and in the next 4 to 5 hours, craft a book that is so spectacular, so wonderful, so authentically me that it's. When people read it, they say that's Dr. Mack, because I understand that AI is a tool, and I am a proficient. I'm a very polished, successful. utilizer of that tool. That tool to me becomes, I'm a master in using that tool. And guess what? I mastered it because I worked with it till initially I sucked to start off. I was not good, but the more I worked it and realized it and perfected it, I got to the point where I was good, and then I got gooder, and finally I was able to get great. Now, you need to get my book, A Guide to Great Goals. And for my birthday in January, we're releasing uh, what's it called? Aim to Thrive in 2025, A Guide to Great Goals, which is going to be the synthesis of two of my books, Aim for 15 and A Guide to Great Goals, but together with some of the new technology and techniques and tactics that we've learned, this will revolutionize your day, your week. This will turn your success on because then you'll be able to see the absolutely incredible response that you can get by putting your life by aiming. And aim, of course, is aspiration, inspiration, motivation. So you want to aim, you want to have an intentional focus on 2025. And with those great goals, I always say the three types of goals. Most people talk about the SMART goals. They're like, look at me, I've got a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, but it's attainable, it's relatable, and it's timely. So yeah, okay, you got a SMART goal, you think. But most people, they'll take an exercise and implement a safe goal that is small and fairly easy. So that SAFE, small and fairly easy, it's a goal that many times they don't even accomplish because their expectation of accomplishment is not even there. And I'm not even going to get into that whole conversation about expectation, but you want to check back here later. I may just go ahead on and just do a bonus today because expectation is where the elevation begins at. But so finally, you're able to, once you have put all those aspects and implemented those processes, you can begin to look at, you see that safe goal and say, okay, it didn't take much effort, but it wasn't much result anyway. But then that SMART goal makes you think, and look at me, I'm a smart guy. But the real thing is that you want to have a great goal, and a great goal is something that's gigantic. It's so big, it's bigger than you. It's ridiculous. People look at you talking about you're going to build an ark and it's never rained before. Noah, are you drunk? Oh, well, later he was, so that's a whole other story. But they thought he was an imbiber then because nobody. Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. It was ridiculous. Then it has to be enormous, so big you can't do it by yourself. If you could do it by yourself, it's not a great goal. It's just a safe goal. Okay, and then it has to be first I said it's gigantic, then it's ridiculous, then it's enormous, then it has to be awesome. It has to be so powerful that when people say when you accomplish the goal, the jaws just going to my how did you do it? It's absolutely incredible. And then finally, it has to be transformational. A great goal has to transform you. See, the key is not becoming a millionaire. It's not the $1 million that's so important about becoming a millionaire. It's what you had to become in order to become a millionaire. It's the person you had to transform into. So that great goal gives you a target to transform into something. Listen, that real you. Have you this morning I posted that you want to reach to meet the real you, the you that you've always thought that you could be, the you that you're holding back from because you think people are going to ridicule and laugh and criticize and debunk you, but no, they're waiting for you. They want to hear from you. They're believing that you have answers that they've been seeking for. They believe that you are an AI guy, absolutely incredible. And the key is you can be whatever you want to be, but you make that decision. So have yourself an AI day because guess what? It really is absolutely incredible. And it's time for you to have that abundant increase. This is Dr. John L. Mack, and I will be back with more information for your transformation.